Welcome to the Gentle Mat Pilates workshop, or I could also call it the Mindful Mat Pilates workshop. In this 30-minute class, we will go through some gentle Pilates strengthening movements, and these movements are going to strengthen the muscles that flex, extend, rotate, and side bend the spine with regard to the hip joints and the shoulder joints. If you have any concerns about any of the exercises, any of the movements that are in this workshop, it's always best to consult with your doctor prior to beginning a new exercise modality. So please be sure to work with respect to whatever is going on with you specifically at this time. If something does not feel right, it's important to trust those sensations and to ask your doctor before you continue. All you'll need for this practice is a yoga mat on the floor and a yoga block. So let's begin. We'll come onto our backs and place the yoga block medium width between your knees so that the meat of your legs versus the bones, right? The meat of your legs is able to hug the yoga block. Hugging the yoga block will engage the adductors, the inner thigh muscles, which relate to the pelvic floor and the deep core muscles of the abdominal region. So hugging the block can be useful. If you don't have a block to hug, you can roll up a bathroom towel to about this size, and that will suffice. Let your feet rest about hips distance apart, matching the distance of your knees. Bring your arms alongside your body with your palms down and your fingers long. And then instead of just letting your arms lay on the floor, engage the muscles of your arms and gently press your arms into the mat. Right. And then let's just be here for a moment and breathe deeply through the nose. Focus on filling the lungs as you inhale and emptying the lungs as you exhale. And our first movement will be the shoulder bridge. As you inhale, press down into your feet, down into your hands to lift your trunk up off of the floor. And as you exhale, slowly set the back of your trunk down onto the mat. As you inhale, push down through your feet, down through your hands to lift. And as you exhale, lower back down. As we repeat this movement, it can be helpful to know that the primary muscles that you're using come from the backs of your thighs and your buttock region. Secondarily, you're using the muscles of your back, as well as the long muscles of your arms and the muscles of your shoulders. So the musculature that is most active in the bridge starts from the legs and works its way up the back of your body and down the backs of your arms. Inhale as you press up and exhale as you lower down. If you're feeling a lot of activity in your low back when you do the bridge, that would be an indication that you are overusing your low back, or could be an indication. So make sure that you're using the strength of your legs primarily to press up, and your back secondarily to organize the trunk so that you have this nice solid mass that you're lifting. One more time. Inhale as you press up, and exhale as you lower down. Take the block or towel out from between your legs and just gently rock your legs from side to side. Bring your legs back to center and reinstall the block or towel between your legs. And then interlace your fingers and slip your hands behind your head. Right? Raise your elbows slightly off the floor. So your arms and hands are going to function to support the weight of your head instead of pulling you up off the floor, right? So you really have to change how you think about the way that you're using your arms. Your arms and hands support the weight of your skull. So what is it that gets you off the floor? The strength that's coming from your upper abdominal region, right? So take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, curve your upper trunk away from the floor. And as you inhale, lower down. As you exhale, curve your upper trunk. And as you inhale, lower down. Repeating this movement with mindfulness, with awareness of the body, hugging the block gently between the inner thighs, supporting the weight of the head without pulling on the neck or head, using the strength of the upper abdominal region to flex what's called your thoracic spine. And as long as you're not pulling on your head, you're not going to hurt yourself in doing this motion. So you're flexing, that's rounding. You're not lifting straight. Flexing is slightly rounding the spine. And we'll do that a couple more times. Of course, take a break. If you haven't done this before, you're going to find this quite strenuous. Exhale and inhale. One more time. Exhale and inhale. Let your head come to rest on the mat and take the yoga block out from between your legs and gently rock your legs from side to side. Good. Now we're going to strengthen the low abdominal muscles with a little bit of stabilizing. So you're going to take the block, the flattest portion, lift your pelvis off the floor and place the block underneath your pelvis. So it's holding you into what feels like a miniature version of a bridge. Bring your arms down alongside your body with your palms down, right? So you have to create a little bit of muscular tone in this abdominal region. But when you tone your abdominals, be sure that you're not also tilting your pelvis. Let your pelvis rest on the block, and how it rests on the block, we're going to call it natural or neutral position. So you're going to tone your muscles to hold that natural or neutral position, and then bring your right leg up into what we call tabletop position and set your foot back down. Bring your left leg up into tabletop and place your foot back down. So there's no movement in your pelvis, no change in the shape of your spine. As you alternately raise one leg and set that leg back down, the movement is in your hip joints, alternating between right and left. Now you can continue one leg at a time, just as we started, or you can increase the challenge. Bring the right leg up, and as you're setting the right foot down, bring the left leg up. And as you're setting the left foot down, bring the right leg up. So right away, you'll notice that you had to increase the level of tone in the abdominal region in order to keep the pelvis and the spine quiet. And we'll do that one more time. Keep the right foot down and place the left foot down. Really nice. Press your hips up and take the block out from underneath you. Take the block again and put it between your knees. Slide your arms wide out across the floor, and at your shoulders, you're going to twist your arms so you feel that twist, and it requires you to slightly reposition your shoulder blades when you twist your arms like this. Now we're going to do it so your palms face up, and then we're going to do a tiny twist in the wrist so that your palms turn down, right? Now, engage those abdominals, lift your feet up off the mat so you're in tabletop with both legs up. Notice if your low back is popping up, pull your abdominal wall in to keep the curve of your spine in control. As you exhale, rotate your lower body a little bit to the right. Inhale and come to center. Exhale, rotate your lower body a little to the left. Inhale to center. So we could say that we're rotating the hips to the right and back to center, rotating the hips to the left and back to center. As you continue this movement, the rotation comes from your belly button region. This is the region of your lumbar spine. So you're rotating through the lumbar region to turn your pelvis to the right and back to center, and turn your pelvis to the left, back to center. If you're finding this is too strenuous, put your feet down and take a break. Keep hugging the block to maintain proper positioning of the legs relative to the hip sockets. Inhale to center. Exhale as you rotate. We're going to go through this one more time from side to side. Turning to the right, coming back to the center, turning to the left, coming back to the center, and then set your feet back down. Take the block out from between your legs and just let them lightly rock, windshield wiper from side to side. And then come back to center, put the block back between your knees, inner thighs. Interlace your fingers once again, slip your hands behind your head. We're going to do another rotational movement, this one for the upper trunk. So just like we did the first time with the chest curl, the function of the arms is not to pull you up off of the floor. It's to support your heavy skull. So elbows slightly lifted, right? Set the arms in a position to support your head, right? Give the block a little squeeze. Now we're going to do a chest curl again, but this chest curl is going to have a little bit of a rotational focus. So as you exhale, you're curling up to the right and then inhaling back down. Your exhale curling up to the left and inhaling back down. Now, somewhere in the Rolodex of your memory, you might be thinking elbow to knee, but in Pilates, you would be mistaken. You're thinking of armpit towards the opposite hip socket. So it's really shoulder to hip, not elbow to knee, right? So we're thinking about working within the realm of the trunk. So armpit or shoulder to hip, opposite hip. That's what you're thinking about here. Now, of course, you're not going to be able to move that far, but that's the general idea, right? So continue that movement. Exhale as you curl and inhale as you uncurl. Exhale, curl with a little rotation and inhale and uncurl. Let's do it one more time towards the right. And one more time towards the left. Come back to center. Now release your head. Bring your arms down alongside your body. We're going to go back to the bridging one more time. As you inhale, press down into your feet and hands rising up. Notice how this bridge feels. And then melt your spine back down onto the mat. Just pause and come to rest. Press your spine up off the mat and melt your spine back down onto the mat. Pause and rest. We'll do that one more time. Pressing up and melting all the way back down. Take the block out and turn and come on to your, let me think about that. If you're facing towards me, same direction, you're going to be on your left side. Come onto your left side. So you're a mirror image of me with your left arm down onto the floor, your palm facing down, your knees slightly bent. Take your right arm over your head so that you can cradle your skull, so that you've got support for the weight of your head. So this is to strengthen the muscles that side bend the trunk. So take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, curve your trunk to the right. Inhale and lower back down. Exhale, curve your trunk away from the floor to the right. So you're curving towards the ceiling. And inhale and lower back down. You could again think about armpit to hip. You're curving into the side of your body. Right? And the emphasis is not on the head and the neck. Again, we're trying to work on the trunk. So think about the bigger section of your body from your rib cage to your pelvis. That's what we're trying to develop, is that movement, strengthening the muscles that side bend the spine. You might get a little tingling in your hand from the arm that's supporting the weight of your head. And we'll do that twice more. Inhale as you curve. Exhale as you curve, inhale as you lower. One more time. Exhale and inhale. And then release that right hand to the mat. Now bend that bottom elbow. So you're creating a pillow for your head. And straighten out your top leg, which if you're doing this mirror image would be your right leg. We're going to do some circles for this hip. So we're going to create some tone in this abdominal region and begin to draw circles with this right leg. Just breathing in and out through the nose as you make these circles. Strengthening the muscles that lift the leg away from the floor and developing a good range of motion for the hip joint itself. Let's do 2 more circles. Notice the direction that you're turning your leg, and then take a moment and pause and just set that leg down, bend your knee. And if you feel like you need to rub your hip, go ahead and do that. It's your hip. Take care of it. Let's place our hand on the floor, straighten out that right leg, reversing the direction of the circle. Maintaining tone in the abdominal region, the lumbar region, as you circle your leg. The reality is that when you do the second circle, you're typically circling in the direction that's less natural for you. So it's also a little bit harder often in the second direction, both physically as well as coordinating the circle. One more circle. Pause, and then you can relax that leg. Good. We're going to do one more movement on this side. Straighten out both of your legs and straighten out your bottom arm with your palm down onto the floor again. Lift your right leg, just holding it in space about the height of the right side of your pelvis, your right hip. And we're going to raise the bottom leg to touch the top leg. Lift the bottom leg to touch the top leg. Feeling from the groin all the way down to the foot that you're raising your leg off the floor and setting it down. Raising your leg and setting it down. Relax this right shoulder. Yes, there's a little bit of pressure in this right hand on the floor, but make sure that's not causing you to hunch. We're going to do a couple more. You're probably feeling a little bit of a burn in this top hip. That's okay. One more time. Raise and lower that bottom leg, and then bend your knees. Oh, roll onto your back for a moment. Let your arms spread out wide. Take your feet out about as wide as the mat. And nice and gentle and slow, tilt your legs all the way to the right and all the way to the left. And then tilt your legs all the way to one side and just turn and come up off the floor and switch your position. So if you were laying on your left side, now you're going to turn and lay on your right side. So we're going to start with our knees bent. Our bottom arm, which in this case would be your right arm, long, palm facing down. And your left arm is going to come up overhead and wrap around your skull to give you some support. We're going to go back to strengthening the side bending muscles. As you exhale, curve into your left side and inhale and uncurve. Exhale and curve and inhale and uncurve. So think about armpit to hip, right? Again, you're not thinking about ear to shoulder. We're not trying to strengthen the muscles of the neck. We're working on the big, powerful muscles of the trunk. Exhaling as you curve and inhaling as you uncurve. Let's do a few more. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and out. Last time. Breathing in and out. And then lowering down. Bend that bottom arm, right? So you're flexing your elbow, creating a pillow. Okay? And then straighten out your top leg, which would be your left leg. Let your left hand rest on the floor in front of you. Create some tone through this abdominal region and begin to circle this top leg. So we're looking at developing a moderate size circle, not too big, not too small, smooth movement, right? Whatever the quality of the movement is that we do repeatedly, that becomes habituated. So that's how we always move. So if we want to have a smooth, good quality movement, then we have to train a smooth, good quality movement. Let's take a couple more circles. And then pause, bend your knee, let your leg rest for a moment. Rub your hip if it's feeling a little bit tight, a little bit sore. Let your hand come to the mat, straighten out your leg, create tone through this abdominal region. Reverse the direction
of the circle. So you're working on strengthening the musculature. You should feel a lot of work here on the side of your hip and thigh. Your abdominals are just toned just to keep everything in the center still. The movement is out here in the left hip. Take a couple more circles, breathing into the discomfort that you might be feeling at this point. And then pause, bend your knee, let your leg relax, rub your hip. Good. Now, straighten out both legs, straighten out that bottom arm, palm to the floor, both palms to the floor. Hold your top leg, right, your left leg up. And as you exhale, bring your bottom leg up and inhale and set your bottom leg down. Lift it up and set it down. So the movement has two phases. One phase is to raise the leg. The second phase is to set the leg down. And you might be feeling quite a bit of effort in that top leg, in that top hip. So see if you can breathe through whatever you're feeling there. Raising and lowering that bottom leg, simultaneously continuing to develop the strength of the outer hip and thigh. Let's do two more. Exhale and inhale, and one more time, raise and lower. Relax that top leg and roll onto your back. Bend your knees. Take your arms out wide, take your feet out wide, and then let those legs rock nice and slow all the way from left to right, from right to left. And then turn to your side and come onto your abdomen, coming down onto your abdomen for a little bit of strengthening for your back muscles. So as you come onto your belly, place your hands on the mat in the vicinity of your chest, right? And be aware that the natural inclination here is for the shoulders to rise up towards the ears. So keep some space between your shoulders and your ears. Your legs are long and your feet are touching the floor. Here we need a little bit of contraction or tone in the buttocks, right? So we want to make sure to keep the feet on the floor at all times, and the shoulders are relaxed away from the earlobes. As you breathe in, begin to lift the front of your chest away from the floor. And as you exhale, lower the front of your chest back down. Using your back muscles primarily and your arm muscles secondarily. So it's not a push-up to strengthen the arms and shoulders primarily. Instead, the arms and the shoulders are assisting the development of the back muscles. So we want to focus on using or recruiting our back muscles. Inhaling as you lift up and exhaling as you lower down. Inhaling up and exhaling down. Mindful that there's not a lot of unnecessary tilting the head backwards and forwards. Just keep the head steady on the neck and focus on your trunk, right? The big muscles of your trunk, not the little muscles of your neck. One more time, pressing up and lowering down. Let your hands come to rest under your forehead. And then just relax your back muscles and allow your hips to gently rock from side to side. Now, let's come up onto the elbows and interlace your fingers. Your elbows about shoulder width apart and slightly in front of your shoulders, right? Your legs are long. And there's a feeling here of drawing backwards through the arms, like you're kind of pulling backwards a little bit. And that feeling of pulling backwards makes the front of the chest feel a little bit more open. So that's what we're looking for here. And you'll have sensation of active musculature in your back. So don't be surprised when you feel some activity in your back, right? So propping up tall, looking ahead, you're going to bend each knee, flex each knee twice, once with your foot pointed and once with your foot flexed, right? So bend each knee twice, point, flex, then switch legs, point, flex, switch legs, point, flex, point, flex, point, flex, point, flex, point, flex, point, flex, point, flex. Once more, point, flex, point, flex, whoop, and then lower all the way down. Let your hands become a pillow for your forehead. Relax your back, just relax. You've heard the phrase, breathe into your belly. Well, as you breathe into your belly, include breathing into your back. And then bring your hands by your chest and pick yourself up off the floor and come up onto your hands and knees. Spread the fingers wide. Position your hands below your shoulders, your knees below your hips, and your feet straight behind your knees, right? Holding yourself up so that the weight of your skeleton isn't collapsing into the front of the body, right? And we're going to flex and extend the spine. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Exhale, lift the belly, flexing the spine. Inhale, slowly lower, extending and arching the spine. Exhale as you flex. Inhale as you extend. Exhale and inhale. As you continue this movement, be aware of any tendency to arch the back too much. Move an amount that feels appropriate for you. Take that one more time in each direction, flexing the spine, extending the spine, coming back to neutral, and shifting your weight off of your hands. Making yourself comfortable, shaking out your wrists. Thank you so much for participating in this workshop. I hope that you enjoyed it. I'm Jenny Gadbois of Pilates of Cheshire, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care.